How to ride steep climbs. Really steep hills need a different approach and technique compared to other hills. Let's be honest, they're harder, yeah. But in this video, we're not only going to tell you how to ride up them, we're going to tell you how to fly up them. Pace yourself before a steep hill. Ouch! The main issue with these steep hills is they are incredibly hard to get up. It might be that you have to ride as hard as you possibly can just to keep moving. We'll cover all the hacks and tricks to help with this. But first, you need to think about preparing yourself before you even get to the steep hill. Try to arrive at the hill with as much energy as you can. Now, this might not be possible if you've done a long ride to get there. But a trick is to ease back on the approach, so you're not arriving at the hill out of breath, and you can draw on all your energy when you're climbing. Gear selection for steep hills. Before you even get to the climb, you want to think about preparing your gears. What I mean by this is changing into the smallest ring on the front. Leave this too late, and you'll find yourself on the steep hill stuck in a big gear, and you'll have to stop. So use your momentum, ease off the gears, change into your smallest ring, and then you can think about changing the rear gears as you get onto the hill. It's far easier to adjust the rear gears when you're on the hill than adjusting the front.
Climbing technique.
Most people find that standing up out of the saddle is the best way to get the most power out to the pedals and the quickest way to get up a steep hill. Now, this is true, but it's not sustainable. It's only really sustainable on the really short hills or the really steep ones when I guess you have no choice. Yeah. Another great way up a hill is actually sitting down. Now, it's not as fast, but it is a lot more sustainable. To help with this, you want to bring your butt slightly more forward on the bike. It's not the most comfortable, but it's only for a short period. Bike setup on huge gradients. Now, I don't like bike setup being a factor in a technique video, but when it comes to steep hills, there's no way around it. It's all very well saying sit on the back of your saddle and just go slower. But if you don't have the low enough gears, then this ain't possible. Most new road and gravel bikes will come with a really big range of gears. But essentially, you want this cog at the back to be as big as possible, and the little chain ring at the front to be as small as possible. Now, what you can get on your bike depends on what type of gears you already have. But if you go to your local bike shop, they'll be able to advise you if you do think you might benefit from having smaller gears. It can be a little bit costly, but really you need to decide if you really need it.
Paperboy technique à Climbignac.
A super effective technique is the Paperboy technique. All you need to do is start from one side of the road, quickly turn your head to the other side of the road and back again. This is really important that you do it on a safe road that's clear. But what it does do is dramatically reduce that gradient, making it far easier to get up what could be an absolute wall. Wow, tell you what, it's also quite fun, I'll be honest. Attitude. Learn to love those big gradients. I don't love steep hills, and this isn't just down to my fitness. It's down to my head as well, my attitude. I always worry that I'm going to be so much slower than my friends. And coupled with it being physically very hard, I kind of get in my own head, and I've been defeated before I've even started to climb. The issue with this is that it will hurt more. The pain in your legs and your lungs will be worse than it actually is, meaning you're more likely to give up. Now, fixing this isn't easy, but being aware of it is the first and most important step. If you do catch yourself being negative, don't think about the effort. Just think about taking points off along the route. And lastly, don't think about anybody else. Just think about you. Now, it is a great challenge, isn't it? Staying on your bike the whole way up this steep hill may be something to focus on. But if it gets too tough, then get off and push your bike. It does happen to all of us, even those pros. Come on. Practice makes perfect. Riding steep hills makes you better. Riding steep hills is going to make you better at them. Not just the techniques, but your fitness too. And remember that steep hills is quite a specific effort that you might not do all of the time. But remember these tips and tricks when you arrive at the bottom of a steep hill. Try and arrive as fresh as possible. Get in that small front chain ring. Sit down when possible. Get your weight forward and fly to the top with a positive mental attitude. Yeah. I hope these tips and tricks help. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy steep hills.